Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Zenless Zone Zero reaction. I forgot I have things on my schedule for once, so I actually need to record a bunch of stuff back to back, and this is one of those, so I'm just going to get straight through this one. And to this one, this is Lemnian Hollow, the old mining site exploration theme, as requested by Moaz in the comments of the last video. And I guess without further ado, let's go! Obviously, I'm not going to be, like, speeding up the reaction part of it. I'm also really glad that this copy of this theme was on Finding Purposes page, so I could actually find it. And what I know will be a decent upload of it. They're leaving a lot of hanging tension in this one. There's a lot of things that like start as progressions on like guitar and then just don't resolve anywhere. They really just kind of sit there and then move on. I do loves me this heavy atmospheric stuff. The stuff that really gives me a feeling of the world that I'm supposed to be experiencing. And I like this like texture in there that almost sounds like a Geiger counter. I don't know if that's what that is. It might just be some other distorted signal, but it definitely has that like breaking up static going on. See, like they're sitting here on this feeling. I'm not entirely sure what that's supposed to represent yet. It's like, I know this is an exploration theme of mines, clearly, but it really feels like there's a history that I'm just not privy to. A very specific reason why this area sounds this way. The other part is, I'm not even sure if this is the right song. I'm hoping it is, but there were a few when I was looking around. Seriously, the amount of things they're leaving, like, hang while just choosing to move on is very intriguing. I'm not sure. I guess that could be just reflecting the time being kind of stopped in this location. There's a little bit of that, like, nostalgic tension in there by doing that. And again, like this section too. Just how much room there is. The lack of anything else other than just that bass line and some of the percussion in there. It's like, that's an interesting one. Again, it's an area theme, so I'm not entirely sure what the story is behind this location. But there's always a story behind why it sounds the way it does. I think what's getting me for this one is how dry this area sounds, and that does make sense thematically. I mean, you're talking about an old, used up, abandoned, probably abandoned mine that, yeah, that's gonna be dry. It's rocks and dust and what else, you know? And that totally tracks. It's just, this reminds me a lot of the start of like Rivers in the Desert from Persona. It's very kind of that vibe. And obviously the title of that one gives a hint as to why that dryness is kind of there in my mind. And it's an interesting take because it is so dry and barren. There's nothing happening in this song. It is purely atmospheric, and that's perfect for an area theme. But at the same time, it doesn't really give me much to why the history of this area would be like this. I can't tell what would have caused everyone to leave. It doesn't necessarily sound like depressing, like there was a great tragedy that this is now abandoned. It feels more like this is just a place that is big and imposing, but largely empty. There's not a lot going on, especially at those like gap spots where like everything drops out except for the bass and like a little bit of percussion. That just makes me feel like the area is even more barren than it already was. There's a little bit of energy behind the main general theme, and it's like, okay, there's something happening there, and that something is probably you, the player, you know? So like that tracks. But also, as the video showed, like your enemy is there, so clearly there is some degree of functionality happening. There is something going on here. Maybe they've started using the mine for bad intentions. I don't know what the case could be. Maybe it was built for bad intentions. But that's kind of the ambiguity of this song and why it's like making me struggle to think of anything deeper, because it's supposed to be ambiguous. This entire song leaves you on these hanging notes, like I kept bringing up, like especially at the beginning when I first heard it. Like right before the end of every single phrase in the intro, right at the final measure, they drop it out and start the next one. It feels like you're skipping something. You don't get that resolve. There is no resolution to any of that. It just keeps bringing you to a new section of the song, to the point where it's like, are we done yet? Are we going, like, am I going to get answers? Like, it's not necessarily frustrating per se, but it's also, you know, it leaves you hanging on those moments, and you really cannot make heads or tails of why. And I think that ambiguity is exactly what they're trying to go for here. They don't really have answers either. This area, potentially in lore maybe, is something that was abandoned and nobody knows why. And it's almost like a ghost town effect, you know, like there's plenty of mining cities all around the world that were just abandoned because either all of the mining like profit that was coming from it just dried up. All of the ore that they were getting is just not there anymore. So they were like, okay, time to leave. So everyone left, but there's still a bunch of buildings, and it's like, here, there's clearly infrastructure all over the place, but it feels so strange that you're like walking into this place locked in time, and there's really no clear reason as to why, maybe, or at least no clear reason that maybe they've explained yet, or if they have, you're not supposed to know when you first get there, and you're supposed to like unravel that as you go. That's pretty common for anything that has like a mystery involved, is just to unravel it in time, but they don't want to give that away in the song just yet. So allowing the song to hang on these moments of just leaving you sit there high and dry and just kind of repeating that feeling, and then every once in a while cutting everything out just to make sure you feel really isolated and very alone, is a very, very good idea. I mean, this is pretty common for any desert theme or any abandoned area. Like I said, this is very common, especially for games that are handled in like all like post-apocalyptic scenarios, like The Last of Us. Like that's just like basically guitar and environmental noise basically, or even stuff like Fallout, where like really the only music you get is from like, you know, the radio scattered around, and that's about it. So this sort of feeling, this like feeling of being left out, just like everything else that's here, is a great way to get the player in that mood and just kind of start making you wonder what could have happened, you know? So maybe you get answers, maybe you don't, but that's about all I can get. I wish I could get more out of this song, but there's just too little for me to build any real opinion on aside from just that, the kind of surface level, it's probably a mystery, maybe you find out, maybe you don't, sort of answer. So and hopefully I'm on the right track, maybe you guys know, and if I am right, let me know. If I'm wrong, let me know. If you want me to get to another song, by all means, drop those in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!